Welcome back to the Building Belmont podcast. If we haven't met before, my name is Keanu, friend, neighbor, citizen, and also a business owner in this community. Several years ago, over 5 years ago, my wife and I moved to this community and we fell in love with the people, what it had to offer, and the way that it really takes you in. And I wanted to, in some small way, support that effort to connect people, ultimately bringing people together. They don't have to like each other. They don't have to leave as friends, but connecting people. That was the catalyst for this platform. So if you haven't yet, we've interviewed several business owners in the community, got to capture their stories. Go back and listen to some of our episodes. But in this season, right now, leading into the November election, our local leadership landscape has the potential to change drastically, and change not necessarily being a bad thing, but there are 4 city council seats that are technically up for election, and our mayoral seat is up for election, given our former mayor, Charlie Martin, resigned his seat early due to health issues. Thank you for your service, Charlie. But with that being said, we have current city council member that is running for mayor. If they are elected to mayor, their seat has to be filled. There are 3 city council members that their seat is up for re-election. Some of them are running for their seat again. Others are moving on. And we have local leaders that want to step up to the plate to lead. So you see, it's very important to get the community involved so you know that you are represented by your local leadership in the issues that you want to address, and ultimately the community that you want to raise your family or grow your business in. So in this season, we have partnered with other great organizations to host a forum Thursday, October 19th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will have a mayoral forum discussion, then a break to meet candidates, followed by a city council forum and discussion. We will have refreshments. This will be hosted at the Pointe Church on Wilkinson in Belmont. So it's a place to connect and understand, get to know more deeply what your candidates are campaigning on, what they feel best represents the community, and to make your voice heard, to be able to connect and understand what is going on or the future of our community. So ultimately, just in the beginning, this platform was about connection. It is still about connection. After the election, we will go back to interviewing and connecting with other great business owners, capturing their stories and getting to connect you with them personally. It's very inefficient for a business owner to meet with 12,000 people to tell their story. So if you're new, please like, subscribe, follow all the things in whatever platform you're seeing this on. But for right now, we're going to focus in on the elections. What we're doing now in advance of the forum is introducing you to each candidate. So all of the candidates for city council and, of course, for Belmont City Mayor have been invited to introduce themselves here. Of course, they've all been invited to the forum Thursday, October 19th. And now I am honored to introduce you to them in a short 10-minute episode so they get to share their story, why they're running, and connect you with them, but also share their information if you want to connect with them personally to understand, or to share your concerns, or to share your ideas or your vision for the community that you represent. Ultimately, all leadership is only a representation of its people in business and government, and we can't do anything about our landscape really at large as a country as much as we can do here locally. You get to meet these candidates, you get to vote for these candidates and get to understand what they're really running on and express your concerns if you have them. So we'll look forward to seeing you Thursday, October 19th. We will be live and live streaming. So if you want to join in person, there's going to be a chance between the forums to actually address or approach each candidate at the same time. We will be live streaming because this is 2023 and there's no reason anything that we're doing can't be live streamed. So we'll be live streaming to you through the Building Belmont YouTube. So subscribe here so you get notified and you're aware when that does come back around. And again, just like you, I am here to connect and grow my family as a citizen, someone that ultimately enjoys connecting people. And anything that I do, my favorite thing is connection. So that is still the purpose here. That will always be the purpose here. And we look forward to connecting you to your future leadership. Enjoy.
Martha Stowe. I am running for mayor, and it's been a long history. When I moved to Belmont, I was a Stowe, and that was about all people knew. So there was a lot of stereotyping going on, and that was definitely not me. As I taught at South Pointe High School for 15 years, people began to realize that I was very independent, and my views were probably different from some of the other family members because I was not a business person. I was a school teacher. Kevin Lofton, who was a former mayor, was also a great friend of mine, and he and Clyde Dietz, who used to be on the council, were my mentors. We talked every year or two about, okay, were there enough new people who'd moved into town who would recognize me for myself, because I would like to help the city. So eventually there were enough people, and I decided I would try to run. And the first time I ran, I lost by 49 votes. The second time I ran, I was the top vote getter. So it takes sometimes a couple of times for people to figure out who you are and what you stand for. So that's how I started. I've been on the council 4 terms, and I had planned probably to let this be my last term. But since Charlie Martin resigned because of health reasons, he and I talked a number of times, and he was very interested, and so was I, in continuing the progress that we've made. So he agreed to support me, and that's one of the main reasons I'm running, because I want us to continue to move forward in a positive direction, and I think that I can do that with the council's help.
With running for your first term back when you did, and then persisting to run again, what made you want to, after losing the first time and coming back and being the top vote getter, what made you want to continue in the path of city council?
I think we had a lot of decisions that were important to make sure the city progressed. One, for instance, would be Harris Teeter. That was a project that took us over 10 years to finally get that to happen, not because of any one thing, but was a number of issues. So if you don't have people who are there who know the history and how to work with the officials as well as the developers, we're not going to get the projects completed that we'd like to see completed. Particularly, who wants to do without Harris Teeter now? It's a wonderful option to not have to go all the way to the other side of Belmont. So we have huge numbers of people at Harris Teeter. Who would have thought that years ago?
Yes, we're all thankful for that, and thank you for your service to this point. Moving from city council to mayoral race or mayoral election, now that your term as councilwoman has ended and going for that race specifically, what are the differences in your experience between sitting in a council seat and sitting in a mayoral seat?
The mayor has to be the public face of the city, and that's actually part of the definition. So I'd love to have the opportunity to do that. If you look at some of my top skills, it's negotiating. If I had not been a good negotiator, I would not have been able to get Representative Bumgarner to offer to give us $150,000 for our skateboard park, which initially he thought I was going to ask for 50. And then when I asked for 150 and justified it, he was able to get that for us from the legislature. And as a result, we have what is considered the best skateboard park in the region. So if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. But if you do ask and ask for the right things in the right way, you'll get a lot. So that's what I'd like to continue to do, to get more for our city through the state and through grants. We probably need to at some point hire a grant writer, because we're missing out because we don't have somebody with that expertise.
Well, in that role, and again, running for mayor now from city council, having that background, having that experience, it is a special election, as I understand it, because Charlie's term was supposed to be 2 more years.
Right.
So this term as elected, whoever may be elected mayor, they serve for 2 years, and then there's another election, correct?
That's correct.
And what do you foresee at that time if you were to win? Would you run again?
I might. It depends on whether we are to the point I feel like our projects are completed that are most important. We need to continue to work with DOT. If we don't stay vigilant, we will continue to get dropped farther and farther back on getting the bridge built. So I think we need to have a coalition of mayors go to the Raleigh and actually talk to them, because it's going to take a combined effort. Not just one of us is going to be enough.
Well, I have a question for you, and you and Richard are the only 2 that I can ask this question, given your tenure on city council. Has there ever been a time in your experience that the city council election, as it stands right now, has been this, to this degree, I would say this magnitude, given that there are 3 city council seats that are up for re-election plus a mayoral election? Have you ever seen that in your experience?
This is very unusual. We normally have not had that many vie for either the mayor or the council positions. So it's been quite interesting. A number of people have asked me who I would support on council. And I said, well, some of the people I don't really know. So I'll have to look at those and see before I can tell you. So I'm looking forward to the October 19th forum, so I'll have a better idea of what these people stand for.
Well, it's a great transition to discuss the forum. Thank you for taking time to introduce yourself today. Of course, we will have our forum Thursday, October 19th at the Pointe Church from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will have a mayoral election where you'll get to hear from Martha and other mayoral candidates, and then we'll have the city council forum where you'll get to hear from city council specifically. So we'll be very excited to see you there. Martha, thank you for being a part of the forum, getting to connect or wanting to connect with the community overall. To your point, getting to know the candidates and what they're running on, what they're running for, what they're about, their values, their beliefs, and their vision for Belmont, ultimately representing the people. But I know that there are other ways to connect with you now. In the meantime, October 19th is still a few weeks away. How can people find you? How can people connect with you in your campaign?
Probably the best option is I have a Facebook Martha Stowe for Mayor page, so you can look at that and get a lot of information about who I am and what I've done. In fact, one thing you'll find that you might not know is that for a number of years I was Cleaning Beauty, the mascot for Keep Belmont Beautiful. And I don't know that you've ever seen me dressed in a trash can lid and a trash can. So it's probably something everyone should look at.
No, I had no idea. Is that something that's something you used to do, or that's something you still do?
Yes, because when I became a part of council and you're on I was supposed to be in the parade, Cleaning Beauty, I handed that over to someone else to do because some people thought I should not be continuing to look like a trash can lady.
I guess that's good optics. At the same time, I appreciate
Yes.
your service and your leadership in that way. Well, Facebook, Martha Stowe for mayor, connect with her there if you want to learn more about her platform, her campaign, and really her experience. I've had the opportunity to get to know you over the last couple of years, and I appreciate you for your leadership to this point. Also, your continued dedication to leadership. Also, as a teacher, what you've done for this community. And again, for all of you, it's a very thankless role to be in public service, public leadership. So thank you for that. Anything else you want to share?
The only thing I would say, being a teacher at South Point High School was a whole lot more valuable to this community than anything I've been ever able to do on council. It's quite gratifying. I actually had one of my former students walk with me to put out flyers, and he's going to take a day off from work to work the polls for me. Now, if you don't think that's touching, that's probably the most touching thing that's happened during this time.
I would agree. It's great. I didn't know that. It's great to hear that, again, the impact that you must have had on his life and so many others. So be looking forward to, mark your calendar to meet Martha and other candidates there at the forum. And of course, engage with her, engage with the candidates beforehand, all of them, to understand what their campaign is, what their beliefs are, their values are, and ultimately getting to know them in our community. Because regardless of whether or which way you vote, it's Belmont. It's very small. We all run into each other either way. So it serves all of us to always be connecting. So thank you, Martha, for your time
Thank you.
today. Really appreciate it.